Then the next point was classic. If you think you know everything, you don't. How often we've learned this, right? From the time we were just young until probably the present time, to where there were times along the way when we thought we knew it all. We thought we knew everything. We thought we had it down. We thought we had it made. We thought we had this one locked. And sure enough, we were surprised later that we didn't know everything. We thought we had the answer to this problem. We thought we had all the answer. But as it turned out, sure enough, we didn't have all the answers. Always surprised, thinking we know everything, thinking we've got it. Then sure enough, something comes along to prove us wrong. But that's how we grow. And our own ego at times wants to believe that we do have the answers, that we've arrived. And then a touch of humility has to come to prove to us that we really don't know everything. We think we know everything about our business, but I'm telling you, we have a lot to learn. No telling what we can do if we keep this learning process. So that was a valid point. If you think you know everything, you don't. But this next one was good. If you think you're alone, you're not. Interesting. The Pledge of Allegiance in America says one nation under God. As a country, we really believe that in America, we are not alone. And sometimes all alone, meaning by yourself, doesn't mean that you are alone. Somebody's prayer reaches you. Someone's spirit reaches you. Someone's presence, even though they're not there, you sense it, you feel it. The telephone rings and you pick it up, and something told you that this was going to be a call from someone that you've wanted to hear from. That unseen magic that I talked about in my San Francisco presentation. It's always there. So we do believe when you think you're alone, you're not. Sometimes when I finish a rally or the extravaganza or some other presentation, here's what I say to everyone in my audience. I promise you when I leave here tomorrow, I will not leave you behind. I will take you with me in my thoughts and in my heart. And everyone senses that sure enough, I won't leave him behind. When I get together with my grandkids and my children, I will relate to them this experience. So the presence of this experience, the dynamics of this experience, the place we're meeting in, all of this, I will take all of this with me, and especially the spirit, the collective spirit of everybody that was here that made it so unusual. I take that with me. I not only take it with me, jumping on the airplane to fly back to America, I take it with me wherever I go, and every time I share the story, someone is impressed, someone is affected, because I didn't leave my audience behind. Then often I ask, how many of you have my name in your notebook, in your journal? Everybody raises their hands. Then I say, after we leave here and the lights are out and the place is dark, I go with you. My name is in your journal. But not just my name and not just my notes, hopefully, but my spirit, my good wishes, my prayer for you. I want my presence to follow you so that when you relate to someone else the notes you've taken from one of my presentations, not only will the notes be there, but the spirit will be there. So I thought this was an excellent point that young Schuler had. If you think you're alone, you're not. So first is the study of possibility. How many times did how many people say over the last 20 years about Mark's project of taking this incredible nutritional story around the world? How many of them said, impossible? I'm telling you, the list would be staggeringly long, especially in the beginning. The list was this long that said impossible. In fact, some that were invited to join declined because they thought it was impossible. How could a young kid, 23 years old, only went to the 9th grade in school, never graduated high school, no college, no university, no formal training to run a company. How could he have the audacity to say, I've got a product, we're going to take it around the world? They said impossible. They didn't join. They missed out on the possibility. So be a student of possibility. You never know In whose hands is the idea? You never know in whose head and whose heart is the idea. If it's in the right person's heart, the most incredible things can happen. We're a witness of that over the last 20 years. Now here was the next one. Possibility is one study. Let me finish now the rest of these. Next is to be a student of opportunity. Opportunity means springtime. To be able to recognize this is a good time. Those early distributors that joined, I'm telling you, this was part of their perception. This sounds like a great story. Mark sounds incredibly sincere. This might just be the time. You know, that was back when, herbs was, not the most well-known, thought-out, superstar study of the day. But I'm sure those early distributors thought maybe this is the time when not just other nutrition that we've heard about, but herbal nutrition and all of that, this may be the time, this may be the moment. And they recognized it as spring. They also recognized it as spring for them because Mark brought them the financial opportunity. When he said, I'll teach you everything I know, and I'll teach you everything I learn as we go. They picked up on that, those early distributors, and said, hey, this could be the spring we've been looking for, with all of the components to make spring unique as we see it through the summer and harvest in the fall. They seized the moment, and that's what you must do with opportunity, is to seize the moment. Whether the moment might be someone you see standing there and you say, I should introduce myself and tell my story, or at least say hello and see if the window will open a new opportunity. I had that chance just not long ago. The gardener who takes care of some of my my landscaping. I hadn't talked to him before, and I thought this is a good opportunity. And I told him about Herbalife, and I told him about Mark Hughes, and I told him about my position, and I told him, what was happening, some of the things currently that was happening. Just incredible. His eyes lit up, and soon he's becoming an Herbalife distributor. But seizing the moment, not letting opportunity slip away. Be a student of when it's the right time. Be a student of when this is the moment. This could be the year. The first 3 months of the next year to set up the year 2000. You say, I'm going to recognize this as a new opportunity for me to really pour it on these first 3 months. I'm calling it springtime. Putting together an artificial spring. In an industrialized society, it's hard to recognize when is spring, when is summer, when is harvest. So sometimes you have to sort of manufacture a spring. When we open up a new country, of course, now it's springtime. But if you've been going along and you've been a distributor like here in America for, quite some time, just create a spring and say for the next 90 days, springtime. We're going to call it the spring campaign, a heavy recruiting effort, a heavy customer base effort called springtime. Learning to recognize opportunity, be a student of opportunity. Now, here's the others. Next is ability. Human ability, as we ponder and think back over as much history as, we've mastered of what human beings have done in the last 6,000 years, and especially what human beings have done that we know more particular about the last couple of 100 years, since the birth of America, especially us who are Americans. But the last, let's say, 1,000 years of the Renaissance, walking hopefully out of the Dark Ages, when there was a whole burst of freedom, of thought, craft, artist, genius, music. It seems like all of these unique architecture, all of these things sort of began to awaken almost simultaneously. And within a few short years, everything seemed to be bursting forth like a variety garden called the Renaissance. But that helps us to understand, pardon me, that human ability is just incredible. Given the right moment, given the right opportunity, given the right climate, given the right season, human beings can think, create, and do the most extraordinary things. That's general ability. In Herbalife, we've watched people who no one gave them a chance, but no other opportunity had ever tapped their unique ability. It was there, but it was undiscovered. It was there, but it was unapplied. It was there, but it was lost in confusion. It was there, but nobody ever recognized it. It was there, but nobody offered them a helping hand saying, come, we'll teach. Nobody offered the opportunity to say, come, we'll recognize. We will help you start, we will help you build. Not having that opportunity before and now having it, we've watched the most extraordinary things happen with people who seemingly others said didn't have the ability, but sure enough they did. Now it's awakened. There's a unique story talking about incredible ability of a university student who was being given an incredible award. He was in mathematics, and this was an incredible award of mathematics, and the ceremony was extra special. And here's why. This young student in his mathematics class one day was just sort of nodding off, and when he sort of woke up, the class was leaving. So he gathered up his books and prepared to leave, and then he looked up at the blackboard and saw two mathematical problems. When he looked at these two mathematical problems on the board, he thought, well, that's the assignment, for the next class. I better jot those down. And so he jotted down those two problems, mathematical problems, and then hurried out with the rest of the class. When he got home that evening, he started working on these problems. And he said, these are the toughest mathematical problems I have ever seen. There seems to be no answer. There seems to be no answer. And he worked with both of them. And he just literally almost tore his hair out saying, at first they seemed fairly simple, but I can see right now there is no answer. There is no answer. But finally, one of them that he had really struggled with, he finally found the answer, or thought he had the answer. And he, packed up his notes, and when the next class was opened up, he offered his paper to the teacher